In honor of my 23rd birthday coming up, here are things I've learned by 23. Number one, our parents were right. I know sometimes when we're younger, we think our parents are just annoying, they want to stop the fun, and so many things that they did that I maybe found irritating, and I'm thinking, young, dumb, proud youth, I already know everything. Our parents, they're just old, the older generation, they don't know anything, but they were right. And if there's any parents watching this, all I'm going to say is give your child time. What you think is not clicking, when you think they're not listening, they're not understanding, they're just being argumentative, especially that rebellious teenage age, just give it time. Keep teaching them, and one day the lessons you tried teaching them and it seemed like it was going in one ear out the other, they will grow and they'll remember, I now understand why my mum told me this, why my dad said that, blah blah blah. But even leading on from that point, number two, of course there can be exceptions. Not everyone grew up in like a loving family completely. I know I've went through certain things with like my father and family in general, but for the most part, like, put that aside, our parents, they just wanted the best for us. It is our parents' first time living on this earth too. I just gave the context. Things were not always good with my father. I'll link a video up here titled "For the Girls with Daddy Issues." But so many things where I've held so much resentment and anger and bitterness, and this isn't in any way justifying any bad behavior, any abusive ways that our parents could have had. But again, it's just coming from a place of understanding and showing grace rather than judgment. It is their first time living on this earth. There's no manual, and let's say if I was to have children one day, maybe my children could grow, and even though I may you do as the best you can, you do what you know, whatever, as a parent, but then even your child could grow up and then think, oh, but mommy didn't do this or daddy didn't do that. But any shortcomings our parents may have had in our lives, we can't use it as an excuse and hold on to it as a mantle. All the days of our lives, those are the gaps for us to fill, or even better yet said, for God to fill. Because this is even another point. Number three, we can't use our trauma as an excuse. Whatever we've went through, we need to acknowledge it. Could our parents or whoever have done better? Sure. Could life have been better or easier being born into a different environment, or if our cards were dealt differently? But you know what? They weren't. We have to accept the cards we've been dealt and basically deal with it. It might sound harsh, it might sound whatever, but what can we do? Complaining, moaning, thinking woe me is not going to add a day to our lives, and it's not going to change the circumstances. The life you are born into doesn't have to be the life you end with. You could have been born into poverty, you could have been born into all kinds of abuse, you could have been born into, honestly, a tragic story, but yet your life can turn around and be different. Some will have it easier than others, but the fact that some can have it easier than you doesn't mean it will be impossible for you. You may have to work 2 times harder, 3 times, some even 10 times harder, but you can still get to that place. You have to take life day by day. Of course, you could have goals that you want to reach, financial goals, family goals, career, whatever it may be. But once all is said and done, as much as you can plan and you can prepare and you can, dot your I's and cross your T's, sometimes life will throw hurdles towards us that we never planned for. Really, it's just saying, expect the unexpected. You can't have everything figured out. And in fact, that's another point. We can't control each and every individual aspect in our lives. There's things that hit all of us that we have no control over. Let's just speak generally. Things like health. Let's say some things are in your bloodline. Hereditary diseases. Said incurable diseases, but I still believe God is a healer. Certain things you could be going through mentally. Economic crashes. That one we can't control. And we just have to be able to adjust, be ready to deal with these hurdles. Another thing that I've learned, I don't know how you've been introduced to God, but if you're someone like me, God is not this angry God just in the sky, ready to send you into eternal damnation, blah, blah, blah. If anything, the Bible says that God desires that no man perish, but all come to salvation through Christ Jesus. I wish people knew that the love that God has for us and his arms are always open. And at the end of the day, we are the ones who decide how close we are to God, how good our relationship with God is. In the Bible, God says, draw nigh unto me and I'll draw nigh unto you. God has already made a way out. He sent his son to give up his life for us. We have the Bible, we have the resources. So now God has done his part. It's up to us whether we're going to take that step and try to seek a relationship with him, whether we're going to read our Bible, whether we're going to pray, whether we're going to attend church. It's not just about attending a building, gathering of the saints. I'm really sorry about the train, guys. Another thing I've learnt by 23 is, and this is very important, and it could sound like common sense. I go, what do you mean? People are individuals, and this can also be a very sensitive or sometimes controversial topic. But this channel is all about transparency, honesty. We as human beings, we have biases. Every single one of us. We can try pretend to be so politically correct and, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, don't do this, don't do that, but we do. We can be artificial, we can be vain, we can have generalizations. Let's just call a spade a spade. And I've had them. You have them, whether you admit it or not, whether it's based on race, whether it's based on religion, whether it's based on gender, whatever it may be. And this is usually affected by stuff like personal experiences, or maybe it can just be what we've been taught to believe about certain groups and certain people. But once all is said and done, people are people, meaning people are individuals, and we should judge them by their character. I know we've been taught this from youth: judge by character, judge by character, judge by character. But as human beings, sometimes we do make generalizations. I'm going to put away the cloak of political correctness for a second, just to be open. Let's say you go through something, have continual negative experiences, it can harden your heart. I don't even know if I should use this term, pattern recognition. And sometimes people use this as an excuse to be hateful when it comes to gender, race, and all these kind of things. But sometimes, even if we're not using it from that lens, if you go through the same thing over and over again, and maybe you start to put two and two together, or you try to look for a common denominator, how comes all of them were from the same race? How comes it was always from this particular gender? How comes people from this religion acting like that? How comes this? How comes that? But once all is said and done, people are people are people are people. The unfortunate thing is, a few bad fruit can make a whole tree look bad. You could have a beautiful tree, and let's say it's an apple tree and it has all these beautiful apples. All it takes is one bad apple to be rotten that can ruin it altogether, and you decide, okay, I'm not going to eat from this tree. Or you could have, when you buy grapes from a shop, right? And they're just so nice, they're so juicy, but you see one of them is rotten, or one of them has mold in it. That could be enough for you to throw away the entire bunch of grapes. And that's sometimes what we do as human beings. We encounter one rotten fruit or one bad fruit, or we have this horrific experience with a certain person, and that one bad experience could be all it takes to now generalize a whole group. The same way someone could go through one heartbreak, one extreme deep pain with one person, and that could be enough for them to decide, okay, I hate all men. Okay, I hate all women. Okay, I'm never going to marry again. Okay, I'm never going to date again. All women are the same. All men are the same. And it's like these gender wars and these things. But we can't let one horrific person turn our heart away altogether. Let me give another example. I am a Ugandan woman and I live in the UK. If, for example, this hasn't happened, but a bunch of Ugandans were to now go and start breaking UK laws at a mass scale, or doing certain things, acting a certain way, that's going to cause bias. And even though, let's say me, I wasn't involved, I haven't done anything, if enough Ugandans go and do nonsense, people could maybe start putting two and two together and say, okay, this is how Ugandans are. That might seem like an extreme example, but that's how it goes. That's literally how it goes. Another example, I'm a Christian. And there could be people, because of their horrific experiences, and I can even relate to it as a believer, they've gone through certain things in their churches, certain religious leaders, blah, 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 and that can turn your heart away altogether and be like, okay, Christians, I want nothing to do with you. And I've had experiences where I have had generalizations, and it wasn't from one or two encounters, where I just kept going through the same thing with certain people based on different factors over and over again, and I have to confess, it hardened my heart. It hardened my heart. And once God saw that my heart was beginning to harden, or I was starting to get certain biases, I genuinely believe that God started intentionally sending people my way who I might have had a bias towards, to remind me that Maria, people are individuals, it's a character issue. There was one time I travelled to one particular country, and I actually saw a discourse about this on TikTok. And it was a situation where, when you do a pit stop, like, let's say I want to go to, Japan, and maybe midway through Japan they stop us in another country, and in this particular country these people were harassing us for money. They were acting a certain way. Like, I know this is just one random example, but they were doing so much, and then in your head you can begin to think, like, what is this? And then it was just, I just met so many horrific people, and it was just a pit stop. But there were two amazing people, two amazing men. And you see, this might seem extreme, like, how could one little instance harden your heart? But it's like, this was an agenda thing, was whatever, but it's like, those two men could be a reminder that, okay, Maria, it was a character issue. Those other horrific people you met, they may have done that, but these two amazing men, again, it just shows people are individuals. There's this one girl, I'm gonna have to censor how I say this. And this is a trigger warning. She had been through SA. And she posted about it on TikTok. And as a result of going through this, and I can relate, it hardened her heart against males in general, against men. So sorry about the train. But like I said, I've been through that too, even in my childhood. But that's too deep a video. One day I'll open up and speak on it fully. I'll reveal it all. And she must have, I don't know if her tire broke down. This was in America. Something happened where she had to pull to the side of the road. And then there was some man there, older gentleman. And at first she was wary. She didn't want him to help her because of her previous experience. But then this guy, she ended up letting her guard down. He was so lovely. He was so whatever. And that literally softened her heart. And again, as a reminder, all men are not the same. And of course, we know that. We know that we can understand that intellectually. But when you go through a horrific experience and it affects you, it's just... I don't know how much deeper I can explain this. If you know, you know. And people are commenting, yeah, he's clearly your father. He was so gentle. He was so kind. And it's just instances like that where, obviously, people could believe it's just a coincidence, but I believe that could also be God, where he puts these people in your path, like who could send a good man or someone in your path to again remind you that even though you might have gone through a horrific experience with this kind of person, and you may blame it on their religion, their gender, their this, their that, it's not that. It's a character issue. I feel like I've just rambled and gone in circles again and again, but I hope you get what I mean. Another lesson I've learned by 23 is life waits for no one. And I'm going to use this in the context of my YouTube channel. The idea first came to me to start a channel in 2020. I opened my channel in 2023, but did not begin posting until 2024. And I was even inconsistent then, went out in 2025. 5 years of procrastination. And YouTube did not shut down because I didn't post. YouTube went on. But it's like, I would have been 5 years deep into YouTube by now. I could have maybe already been established, maybe had hundreds of thousands of subscribers, maybe even 1 million. I believe I'm going to blow up one day. And there was even a potential that I could have not posted. If I wanted, I could have even, at this point in time, decided not to open my channel. Then I would have blocked my own blessings. You know, some of us, you could literally get to the end of your life and then you realize that time passed you by because you were too scared, you didn't start. And then imagine I get to the end of my life and then I could be bitter and angry, or I never achieved anything, I never did anything in my life. But then God could be looking at me and saying, Maria, many years ago, 2020, I gave you the idea to start a channel, but you never fulfilled it. The thing is, even when it comes to God, as a believer, we can have faith. Even if you're not a believer, it's not about that. But it's like, faith without works is dead. You can say, oh, I want to be a doctor one day. You're not just going to magically become a doctor. You have to go to university. You have to get good grades. You have to go through medical school. Oh, I want to build a business one day. You have to start up from somewhere. Oh, I want to be a big influencer, like my case. Well, I need to post the videos. Even when a video may not do so well or only gets like 100 views or this or that, I keep posting, I keep showing up because I'm putting my faith into action. I have faith. I believe I'm going to be very big on social media one day. But that's not going to happen by me sitting back, just wishful thinking. I have to put in the work. I have to edit the videos. I have to post. I have to look up trends. I have to do what I have to do. Time waits for nobody. Time waits for nobody. Another thing that I've learned by 23, expect anything from anyone. Never put anything past anyone. It doesn't matter if it's your spouse, your mom, your dad, whatever. People are people. And I said that earlier in the context of judging by character, but never put someone on such a high pedestal, such a high place, literally idolizing them. Idolatry is a sin. Because I feel like, at least I've noticed in my life, the moment I started thinking so highly of a person, putting them so high up, that was the beginning of the end. The moment I've ever idolized someone, something would happen to remind me, oh, okay, they're still flesh and blood. They're still a human being. They're not God. Spousal betrayals happen every day. Your family betraying you, friends betraying you. If anything, even the Bible says a man's enemies shall be the members of his own household. It's always those closest to you. I'm a YouTuber. The success of my YouTube channel is literally dependent on the love and support of strangers. I'm getting support from literal strangers in a way that's even greater from people that I've even known in my personal life. Another lesson, not everyone is your friend. There's this thing I saw on TikTok. I'm on TikTok so much. What is wrong with me? I'm really chronically online. And this story was so deep. So there's this girl. I don't know if she's based in Nigeria. I think so. But she posted how it was her birthday. And on her birthday, her friend gifted her a perfume. That seems perfectly normal, right? Like, you're gifting your girl perfume. Like, we're ladies. We like to smell good. We like all that. She must have forgotten about the perfume somehow. She forgot to spray it even though she was meant to. Then 2 days later, she was walking in the market and then some random guy, she doesn't know him, came up to her. Then he told her, do not spray that perfume on your body. In the day you spray it, it's going to give you this incurable smell, like a very bad smell that's meant to deter people away from you, push people away. At first, she thought, is this a false prophet? Like, what's he talking about? And then it came to her remembrance that her friend had gifted her perfume 2 days before. So literally, God has sent this man, I'm assuming he was a man of God, to literally just go up to her and tell her, bear in mind, this guy's a stranger. He has no way of knowing her. How would he know that one of her girlfriends gifted her perfume? But God, literally, see how God looks out for you? That's crazy. The person you think they're giving you something in good conscience, you think, oh yeah, this is my friend, she gives me perfume, she wants me to smell good. So essentially, the friend had done witchcraft on the perfume. Some of you may believe in it, some of you may not, but this stuff is real. It's called different things in different cultures. Some people, they call it Santeria, black magic, voodoo, hoodoo. Essentially, she hexed the perfume. She did some sort of dark ritual, whatever. And it was essentially, beyond just making her smell bad, it was also, I guess, meant to prohibit marriage. Like, not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Just because someone is in your space and you think, yeah, I've known her since we were children, yeah, this, yeah, that, they're not. They're not. They're not. And sometimes there are signs if you pay attention, but you know, some people, they're such good deceivers, the mask is really pro-level. Sometimes, even if you don't have any evidence of someone being deceitful, just go by your intuition, especially us as women. I know there could be men watching. I believe us women, we have an intuition out of this world. The way God blessed us, we just know. Sometimes we don't even need evidence, we just know. There's this woman, and I don't want to keep bringing this up. Of course, there are healthy, beautiful marriages out there, but I'm just saying what I've seen. This woman who I believe is now divorced, but she literally said on her wedding day, right before she was going to walk down the altar, she had a funny feeling. She had a feeling like something was telling her, I shouldn't marry him. Literally. But she went through with it only to later on get divorced years down the line. Sometimes God is so merciful. You can literally be about to walk down the altar and you just have that warning, even if you're not a believer. But I believe it's God warning you that don't do it. This is not the spouse I have for you. Don't. But we don't listen. And that's spousal level. But now me, I've never had a boyfriend, never married yet, none of that. But there was this one boy who I had no business talking to, like, I think when I was in university, right? And he messaged me. I was literally just entertaining him. It was literally just for validation. Like, I knew deep in my heart nothing's ever going to come of this. Clearly one of those boys, you know, uni boys, young, likely talking to multiple girls. But one time, because you know how when you're in college, you can add multiple people. Usually they're strangers, but if you go to the same college, you can just all add each other, have each other on social media. There was one time I was supposed to picture on Snapchat, and I went to look at my Snapchat views, and this one particular name came up. We'll call the name L. I don't know this girl. She's literally a stranger. We just went to the same uni. Guys, I kid you not. The moment I saw her name L, immediately in my spirit, without any evidence, not even knowing what she looks like, immediately I knew this boy is talking to L. There's something going on between him and L. They're together. I believe it's a gift, a word of knowledge. Like, there's been many instances in my life that I just knew. I know many women can relate, obviously men can have it too. Like, I just know. Like, there's been times where I met someone, they're a complete stranger, and then I'll see another stranger. I don't know how to say, it's going to sound crazy. Sometimes I just know information about people. I'm not a prophet, none of that, but sometimes I do have, I believe God can give it to people, prophetic insights. I just know. My mom used to be like, Maria, what are you doing? How do you know that? I just know. But again, I just believe it's the Holy Spirit giving me insight. So yeah, I just saw that her name. I knew there was something going on. Fast forward, I was attending this church in college. That boy comes to church and guess who he was with? L, that same girl that I saw, and literally from just seeing her name, no picture, immediately I knew there's something going on. And I know this is not just me, because I remember some girls, but that's not a relationship, that's just some boy I was talking to. But I've known girls who were in not that I've known, but like girls who were in relationships, like boyfriend, girlfriend. And I remember there was someone it was a viral post on TikTok, and it was like, what is the craziest way that you found out your partner was cheating or something was going on? And then this girl said she was clicked on her boyfriend's Instagram following at the time, and one name stood out to her. She doesn't know why the name just stood out. Turns out that's the girl he was cheating on her with. You can't hide anything from a woman. I'm sorry. We could not even be together. I could be entertaining you and I have no business entertaining you, and yet I'll be able to tell you're talking to me and you're talking to that other girl and there's something going on. Play with me if you want to. Anyway, the next lesson that I learned by 23 is it's a mindset thing. It is a mindset thing. Essentially, it's all in your head. I've spoken about this a lot on my channel. Inflamed insecurities in my head where I think all this, all that, all this. other people are not seeing what you are seeing. I've done videos talking about my insecurities, and people have told me, Maria, by the way, if you never mentioned it, if you never pointed it out, I would have not even noticed it. I wouldn't even look at you and pick apart this and that. Like, it really is in your own head. And even in terms of YouTube, me starting the channel, it's a mindset thing. If I just kept the mindset like, oh, I'm never gonna make it, and I have had those thoughts, don't get me twisted, but I had to change my thinking, oh, I'm never gonna make it, all this, all that, I wouldn't be sitting at close to 2,000 subscribers and monetized, and this took less than a year. It took a couple of months, and I was in.